Hello everyone, I'm TimesLore, and today we are going to be talking about the black holes and white holes of Outer Wilds. Just like every other loop, we start our day off next to our campfire, ready to launch into space. But in today's loop in particular, we are going to be going to the Hourglass Twins. We are searching for a place known as the High Energy Lab on the planet Ember Twin. Now, if you watch closely, I will be giving you a rather easy way to make your way there. For starters, whip out your signal scope and search for Distress Signal 2 from Escape Pod 2 on Ember Twin. Enter through the hatch at the top of the pod and follow my lead. There is text that you can read. It is optional. These words in particular will help you know which way to go. Down this way. Across the gap. From here, we have to go forward until we meet the sandfall at the pit, then turn left. Remember to keep an eye on your time, because the sand here is quickly rising and we must be cautious. Don't forget to use your little scout to illuminate the area around you if you need to. Only a little farther to go. We are now entering what is known as the Sunless City. Hop down to this platform by these orbs. The third orb from the left is the High Energy Lab trailhead. Lift it up and it will light the area. At this sandfall pit coming up, we have to wait for the sand to rise at a high enough level for us to be able to walk on it and avoid the spiky plants piercing our suit. You will want to pay close attention. It is very easy to get lost in these tunnels. I, in fact, myself get lost shortly, but I quickly find my way. Watch closely. We are so close. Feel free to take in the view outside the windows here. And we have made it to the high energy lab. Behind the wall, you will find an empty room, but on the wall on the lower part of it, you will find 2 slots for warp cores, which you can find on the other wall to the right. Grab 1 white hole core and 1 black hole core and insert them into the slots. This activates a black hole and a white hole behind the wall. You can shoot your little scout through them to see their magic at work. Pretty fascinating, right? Well, we can learn about how this works up here at the top of the stairs on this Nomai wall with Nomai text. The text states that Nomai were arriving at the warp receiver on Brittle Hollow slightly before they were even leaving the White Hole Station. The Nomai found that this phenomenon was in fact actually happening, and therefore wanted to see if they could increase the amount of time between entering the black hole warp and exiting a white hole warp. Removing the current scroll in the wall, behind you on the ground there is a second one that you can pick up and replace. This scroll states that Raimi discovered that the experiments they were doing proved that the anomaly was actually happening, yet Pi remained unconvinced that it was more than a technical error. Following this, Pi and Raimi then requested that they were allowed access to the rest of the Sunless City's energy to input it towards their warp cores to try to make the anomaly visible to the naked eye. Once they rerouted the power to their lab, they officially confirmed that the anomaly was in fact happening. The objects entering the black holes were in fact arriving slightly before they were even entering the black hole. We can actually test this experiment ourselves by moving the orb from the one side of the room to the other. They later received word from the Southern Observatory asking if creating a 22-minute interval would be possible. That is, to have something arrive 22 minutes before it even enters the black hole. They learned that the more energy they put into the warp cores, the more of a negative interval there is in the time. Creating a 22-minute long interval is possible, but they would need such a large amount of energy to do so. They then conclude that it would be necessary to invent a new way of producing energy. They also realize that they would need a large space to do so, and extremely advanced warp cores to be able to handle such energy. This leads to a different story that we will cover in another video at another time. Heading back down to the lab, we can go back to the wall where the warp cores are. Now, after reading everything on the walls, we learned that there had been intervals in the black hole and white hole receivers. We can now see this ourselves after aiming all the energy from the Sunless City towards the high energy lab. Now, something crazy happens if you remove one of the cores whilst in the middle of shooting a scout through the black hole. Watch closely. And the fabric of space-time has been destroyed. The best way I can explain this is the little scout exits the white hole before it even enters the black hole, and when we remove the core, that allows for 2 of them to appear in the same space. Now, Since it exited the white hole before it even entered the black hole, that just simply is not possible. If it never entered the black hole, how did it exit the white hole? So when you take away the possibility of it even entering the black hole in the first place, that simply destroys the fabric of space-time. Causality or cause and effect are being broken. Nothing caused the little scout to enter the black hole to begin with, and therefore it destroys space. Well, that's all I have for you today, folks. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this video opened your eyes to a whole new level on how the black hole and white hole cores work in outer wilds. I hope to see you next time in my next video. Have a good day, and a good night.